Greetings, alumni, fans, and friends of the University of Iowa. I'm Colin Hennessy, Vice President for Alumni and Donor Engagement, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this episode of Home with the Hawkeyes. Our theme this time is No Bones About It, and I'm joined by Dr. Jonathan Allen from the UI Trombone Studio in the School of Music. Dr. Allen, what pieces will we enjoy in this episode?
There'll be two pieces featuring the Iowa Trombone Choir. The first is Achieved is the Glorious Work, which is an arrangement of one movement of Franz Joseph Haydn's Oratorio of the Creation. The second piece you'll hear is a world premiere by a current University of Iowa graduate student in composition. The piece is entitled Angel of the North, and the composer is Jason Wise. This group is a reduced group featuring only 8 trombones, and the conductor is a current University of Iowa doctoral student from China named Xiaoyu Liu.
I look forward to the performance. Enjoy. Welcome back. Our next segment will feature the Office of the State Archaeologist, and we'll learn how the analysis of animal bones teaches us about the past.
Hello and welcome to the University of Iowa Office of the State Archaeologist. As our name implies, we have statewide responsibilities, so we're Hawkeyes first and foremost, but we also love the rest of the state as well. The OSA, as we call it, or Office of the State Archaeologist, has been around since 1959 and is one of the older research units on campus. One of the missions of the office is to keep track of known archaeological site locations. We also have an education program. We're involved with the preservation of sites and artifacts all across the state. If you're interested in learning more about the activities of the Office of the State Archaeologist, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. If you happen to know of a place where artifacts have been recovered and you want to share that information, please contact the office.
Hi, I'm Sherry Howry Arts. I'm an archaeological technician here at the OSA. One of my research specialties is to look at the animal bones that come from archaeological sites. I like to emphasize the fact that archaeology isn't just about finding stuff, but it's about what those things, what the artifacts and spear points and animal bones can tell us about past human lifeways. So what I want to show you today is this bison backbone. This comes from a site out in Plymouth County. The site was inundated by a flood in 2019. The levee broke and the site was scoured over, exposing a large pre-contact Indian village. And it's more than 800 years old. It dates between the late 11th century and the early 12th century. So we have essentially everything from here to here on this animal. But you can see from looking at this that it looks very different. This is what a thoracic vertebra looks like on a bison. This is what makes that big hump on the bison's back. Normally, you would have this sticking way up here, but this was in the way for people trying to butcher that animal. So one of the first steps that they had to do was to chop off those spines all the way along, and you can see the impact blows that they did with their stone tools. After they had removed the hump, they could roll the animal onto its back because the spine was out of the way. They could split the hide down the middle. They could remove all the ribs. Again, we can see the chopping marks here where the ribs had been attached to the backbone. So that was a nice big piece of barbecued ribs that you could take and remove. This stuff was thrown away, but there are many other pieces of the bison that were useful. I like to tell people that buffalo were the Mall of the Americas. So this is a bison shoulder blade, and these were used to make hose. The people who lived at this Mill Creek Village site were farmers. They were growing corn and beans and squash and tobacco and sunflowers, and these were their gardening tools. This one is an example of one that's made with a deer shoulder blade because they're a lot easier to get a hold of. But we know how they were made. We got this information from an Hidatsa woman named Buffalo Bird Woman who lived in the late 1800s and early 1900s. But we know that not a deer scapula, but bison scapulas were what they used. And these were important tools to keep their gardening going. These were prolific gardeners. They were able to grow enough crops in their gardens that got their entire family through the winter. Another cool tool that we found at this site, we found all of the evidence for bison hide processing. We found fleshing tools for scraping the insides off the hides. We also found awls and needles for perforating them, materials used for tanning them. And then one of my favorite artifacts from this site, this is called a hide grainer. And it was used to work the hide, to soften it up, to make it all soft and suede-like, to get that fuzzy suede feeling. But if you look closely at this one, you can see that there is still color embedded in this. So this gives us a little peek into some of the artistry that probably went into the work that these women were doing. So as they were softening this hide and finishing it, they were also grinding color into it. So it was artistic, it was beautiful. We get little hints like that, things like that from this site as well. So we appreciate the fact that there are people out there who have eyes and ears in the field and can tell us, reach out to us and tell us when they find important things like this. And we can add more to the research record and learn more about the state of Iowa and the people who have lived here for more than 13,000 years.
Welcome back. In this segment, we'll go behind the scenes at the University of Iowa Museum of Natural History, where from hollow bird bones to the bones of a right whale, their family-friendly exhibits are not to be missed.
Hi, I'm Liz Crooks, the director of the Pentecrest Museums. That includes the Old Capitol Museum and the Museum of Natural History, where we are today. Right now we're in the lab. Our lab has been in continuous operation since 1907 when the museum opened in this building. Some incredible things have happened in this lab. Make no bones about it, the stories are great. In fact, bones tell a lot of stories, and we're going to go see some today. Let's go. Right now we're in a wing of Mammal Hall that's dedicated to bones. Not just any bones, skeletons of mammals. We use this space as instructional space for classes that study everything from anatomy to drawing. We hold programming in this space, and it's a family favorite. If you've ever been to the Museum of Natural History, when I said bones, this is probably the first thing that you've thought of. The bones of this right whale have been keeping watch over this gallery space since 1910. One of the favorite ways that we use this space is for a program called Art and Write Night. On the first Friday of every month, the galleries stay open late. Families, students, faculty, staff, all come together and draw inspiration from our galleries, and especially this one. Now let's head over to Bird Hall. That's another fan favorite, bones and all. Welcome to the Hedgebeck Hall of Birds. I couldn't pick just one spot to stand here, so we're going to give you lots of different views of the space. From anatomical renderings that show the diversity of bird species, to a full-size albatross with a cutaway of its skeleton, to an exhibit that talks about how birds can fly and why their bones are so special. Do you know why their bones are so special? They're hollow. It's pretty amazing. No visit to the Museum of Natural History is complete without a stop at the Laysan Island Cyclorama. Established in 1914, the Laysan Island Cyclorama is a one-of-a-kind gem. It's really the crown jewel in all our exhibits. It provides a 360-degree view of a tiny island 800 miles northwest of Hawaii. It is important to us because faculty and students traveled there in 1911 to collect plant material, sand, specimens, and, of course, bones. Today you find all of that and more depicted in the foreground of this incredible exhibit. Don't miss it while you're here. Did you know that most museums only have 5 to 10% of their collections on exhibit? We're no different. Everything else is in research collections. Let's go take a look. Here we are in research collection storage. This is where we're going to get down to the marrow of the matter. Get it? Here's where we keep all of the things that are not on display. This is where researchers and instructors can access all of the materials that they would need for their classes, that they would need for research projects. This is where they find the materials that they use to help answer the most pressing scientific questions of the day. We keep them very carefully climate controlled, a steady temperature, a steady rate of humidity. What we're looking at right now is a series of mammal bones. We don't have any human bones, only on my shirt. Thanks for visiting us today at the Museum of Natural History. There's one thing for sure, the museum is full of heart, soul, and bones. We hope to see you soon. Remember, admission is always free, and we're the perfect cure for cabin fever.